Most in Bhopal regard the legal battle as over and lost. But in the city, they live with a continuing catastrophe. Research shows that 300,000 face long-term illness, including cancers, 10 times more than previously estimated. Scientists based in Britain raise an even more alarming prospect.
The way that the work is pointing, it's not good news for anyone at all. And I suppose the consensus of the last years have been that there are chronic effects of methyl isocyanate that affect the lungs, the eyes, and the immune system. What we seem to be talking about in the case of MIC exposure is a generalized reduction in immune competence. That means that any old infection that you or I would be able to brush off doesn't get brushed off quite so easily. In relation to the common diseases of that area, like tuberculosis, those diseases would be both more common and more severe.
The full damage to the future health of Bhopal cannot yet be reckoned. Only the full and final settlement is certain. The level of those damages is fixed, however much illness lies ahead.
Different sorts of damage to the immune system can take between hours and several years to manifest themselves. Once you have the damage to the immune system, you can have good luck for many years after. So I think we could be talking about anything from where we are now, which is 6 years, through to 10, 15 years, very easily.
In the human laboratory of the Bhopal slums, Dr. Anderson's team took 6 years to begin unraveling the lethal long-term effects of MIC. They're now beginning to publish their findings, but they've had no help from Carbide, who shared with them none of their corporate research.
It's very difficult to believe that all that is available was what we had in the first days after the disaster. And given that Union Carbide has a very large, very competent research unit, it's very difficult to believe that they didn't know the sort of stuff that we're finding out now a long time ago.
Carbide today can project an image of environmental responsibility and healthy profitability. Because whatever Carbide did to Bhopal, Bhopal did Carbide a favor.
Hi. Ready, sir? 1,200 and a half.
In the dealing rooms of Wall Street, Carbide was safe amid the takeover frenzy of the 80s. Although considered a likely takeover target, it was so tainted by the threat of unknown legal damages that no predator dared touch it. In financial jargon, Bhopal was Carbide's protective poison pill.
Poison pill is exactly what the name says. If you take this, you might die. In essence, Union Carbide had a very large liability, and if a company were to try and take over Union Carbide, bad things would happen to them. So it is a shield against a hostile takeover.
The only bid came from a much smaller chemical company, which Carbide was able to fight off. Wall Street expected one of the giant oil companies to move in, but none did.
It would also be a very bad PR move for a very large oil company to buy a chemical company that just killed over 2,000 Indians. So I think Carbide really lucked out.
So history's worst industrial disaster ends up on the credit side of Carbide's balance sheet, safely consigned to history with no damage to their corporate health.
I think Carbide before Bhopal was a fat company with many diverse interests. And as a result of Bhopal and other management decisions, Carbide is a lot leaner and a lot meaner company today and a lot more effective company.
We don't hear about Bhopal now.
It's in the past. It happened, it's done with, and it's time to move forward.
I think they did a good PR job, and I think they made amends to the people, and they don't want to discuss it anymore.
Well, it'd be like George Orwell's Newspeak. I think it's completely wiped from the books. They don't have it, it doesn't exist, and they don't speak of it, and it's unmentionable.
They don't even use the word Bhopal, it's the B word. When they refer to Bhopal, it's the B word. They don't even use the word.
उम्मीद तो यही है कि बस मैं अगर अच्छी रहूँ, ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करती हूँ। अभी अगरबत्ती घर में मंदिर जैसा बना के रखा है, ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करती हूँ कि मैं भी अच्छे रहूँ, मेरे बच्चे भी अच्छे रहें, तो कम से कम मैं बच्चों के सहारे जी भी सकती हूँ। तो ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करती हूँ। यही कहते हैं कि बताओ जरा, गैस के बाद इतनी हालत ख़राब हो गई, इसके पहले सब कितने अच्छे थे और अब गैस के बाद देखो जरा कितनी सांस फूलने लगी है, खाना नहीं खाया जाता है, कितने परेशान हो गए अपन लोग। कई लोग तो ऐसे हैं कि बेचारे मतलब जो ख़त्म हो गए तो उनको तो सुकून मिल गया, और जो जिंदा हैं तो वो अधमरे जैसे हो रहे हैं।
They are resigned to the fact that such a thing happened. Nobody took note of it. And we have been forgotten by everyone. And we have to fight with our own fate and lead a crippled life. They have resigned to it. They don't expect much now.
After all, what have we now? You know, we don't even have the strength to do anything. Even if we want to do something, go forward, fight. We are, left without any strength.
6 years of sheer torture, sheer mental, physical torture. And where's justice? Is this justice? That they let us go through all this? Never mind the thousands that they've killed. But what about, what do they call it now, the living dead? The walking dead?
Yeah, the living dead.
That's what we are. That's exactly what we are.